Hello, welcome to the CPTSD book club. I'm Allisun, and today we're talking about chapter 4 of The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. This chapter continues to validate our day-to-day experiences by explaining the science behind our thoughts, our speech, our actions, what's actually going on, not just in the mind, but in our brain and in our body, the physiology. So I recommend that you go back and watch my last video because it was honestly life-changing. It enlightened me to feel like I had no idea anything about trauma before I read that chapter, and I really recommend that you watch it. But today I'm going to explain to you why trauma happens to a lot of people, but some of them are able to move on and some of them are not, and how we can go about changing our trauma as people who have been traumatized by complex childhood experiences over a long amount of time. There are two things that are critical in moving beyond your trauma that happen in the moment that an overwhelmingly stressful experience is occurring. So those two things are, one, being able to actively play a role in escaping or dealing with the stressful event. And number two is being able to escape and come to a safe place so that your brain and your body can calm down. The reason why people who have experienced childhood trauma over a long amount of time, the reason why we can't move beyond our trauma is because we could not take an active role in fighting or flighting from our trauma. We never knew when it was going to come. We were in a constant state of this stress, fear response, and because we could not come to a safe place. Most people's safe place is their home, but our homes were the source of our fear and our stress. So a lot of this chapter 4, is dedicated to explaining different parts of the actual brain and their roles in our stress response. But I will suffice it to say that much of our stress response happens before our rational brain is even aware of what's going on. It happens without our conscious control, our conscious effort, this instinctual radar for threat and response to threat. And what also isn't under our control until now, bringing conscious awareness to it and healing to it, is bringing that alarm for threat to an end in our deep instinctual brain. So unless these two things happen, we cannot bring that stress response to an adequate end. And bringing our rational brain into the equation, the parts of your brain that are used more develop more, and the parts that aren't used as much don't develop as much. And so over the course of our life, if most of our energy is spent being creative and feeling safe and learning, then you learn to do that more and more and more. But if most of your energy is spent not feeling safe and trying to predict when the next threat's coming and how to handle it and keep ourselves under control, keep ourselves safe, that develops more and more and becomes more and more of our brain power, of what our brain does. So I'm going to read a bit from the book here. Being traumatized means continuing to organize your life as if the trauma were still going on. Every new encounter or event is contaminated by the past. The survivor's energy now becomes focused on suppressing inner chaos at the expense of spontaneous involvement in their life. These attempts to maintain control over unbearable physiological reactions can result in a whole range of physical symptoms. This explains why it is critical for trauma treatment to engage the entire organism, brain, mind, and body. So how does one go about calming down this threat response that happened at first in their past and they were not able to bring it to an end, and therefore happens again and again, more and more over time into their present day? So as I said in the first video explaining this book, there are 3 ways that Bessel says heal trauma, and the first is top down, by strengthening your conscious, rational brain and bringing it to a place of peace to the extent that when you are triggered and this instinctual, emotional, physiological response occurs in your day-to-day life, you just feel stressed and you react in this crazy way. It's not crazy, it's a physiological thing that's happening within you that makes total sense. There's lots of reasons for it. Having the conscious strength to tell yourself to calm down and be able to do that. So that's top down, by rationally being able to calm yourself down. But there's a twist. I'll get back to how there's a twist to the top down. It's all going to tie together, but explaining bottom up a little bit more. When you are experiencing trauma or experiencing a flashback or trigger in the present moment, your brain either goes haywire or goes completely offline. Things are activated, things are deactivated. There's a mixture for all of us. A couple things that do happen inside your brain. Watch the last video I made for a little bit more detail. A couple things that happen are you lose touch with time, with cause and effect, with the fact that something that is triggering you now actually happened a long time ago, and that in the present moment you don't have the cause to consequently react in the way that you're reacting. And you lose awareness of the fact that, you know, there's a tomorrow. You lose your time, and your amygdala goes frickin' crazy.
Going crazy!
A way to calm this down, this bottom-up experience that's actually physically, physiologically happening, is by grounding into the present moment. By bringing back your sense of time, bringing back your senses, and realizing with your eyes, with your physical body, with your nose, with your other senses, ears, that you're in this moment and you're safe, you're okay. Viscerally experiencing something that contradicts the rage and helplessness that you felt when your traumatic event, your way overwhelming stress was occurring. Realize that you are now safe and you have the ability to escape the pain, the threat, and to find a safe place. Ground in that new present reality. And so going back to the twist, I'm pretty sure that you can't come to a strong brain place to be able to consciously calm down your vibes on the inside if you're not aware of that, of the fact that in this present moment you're able to escape. It's a different time in your life now. Physically, you have the capability to be safe. Okay. So last thing that I will say about this chapter, even though there is so much more to it. Oh my gosh, you guys, this book is just really, really, really good. The last thing that I'll say is therapy is in a way ineffective unless you first go into talking about your trauma by grounding and realizing that you're here now and you're safe. Most mental illnesses, difficulties, CPTSD, complex childhood trauma, they aren't due to a lack of understanding. Most of us are well aware of why we are the way we are and what has happened and what continues to cause us pain. We may, deny the fact that we're the source of our own suffering a lot of the times, but we have a level of understanding. And therapy goes about diving deeper into that understanding. But it neglects to do this grounding, this bottom-up work, this involved day-to-day, moment-by-moment approach to healing trauma. That is crucial because we are physiologically stuck in this way of living because we couldn't bring it to an end in the past. Therapists can assist people to mindfully observe their emotions and sensations and help them get in touch with the context from which they emerge. However, the bottom line is that the threat perception system of the brain has changed, and people's physical reactions are dictated by the imprint of the past. The challenge is not so much learning to accept the terrible things that have happened, but learning how to gain mastery over one's internal sensations and emotions. Sensing, naming, and identifying what is going on is the first step to recovery, but it's not the whole shebang. So we'll get more into this whole top-down, bottom-up specifics according to the man himself, rather than the messenger, me, as we read more of the book. But for now, I'm gonna let that digest and wish you guys a really great day. I really appreciate you watching. Please subscribe if you are looking forward to watching more of my videos. Watching and subscribing are the best ways to support my channel, and also if you have the financial energy and resources to do so, feel free to buy me a coffee. I'm about to take a trauma-informed coaching course, which I'm so excited about, and all the funds that you send my way would be going towards that course, which will hopefully help me help you even more in the future. So that's all for me today. Thank you so much. Share your thoughts below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.